And we are live. We are back. Sorry, there was no show this weekend. We were gonna do something Saturday, but it's been pushed to today. And Farty can fill you in on why that all is. But first, today we're gonna be watching a lovely little video that I was turned on to by none other than Red Letter Media. I know I've been just talking about them for the last like couple of weeks on the stream here. Um
Well, they do
and
have a lot of content you got to go through, so
they've got like 12 years of they've got 12 years of stuff.
mm,
And like okay, so it's probably closer to 10. They've been doing half in the bag for about 10 years. And I'm only about 2 years into all of this shit they've done for half in the bag. But I've been watching like other stuff here and there. But yeah, this one's called Second Chance versus Magnum Force. And apparently it's about this guy. The story behind this is apparently this guy wanted to do wanted to make a hey, look, Dust, you're here. It's good to see you. Apparently, this guy was a pizza delivery guy, like when he was a kid or something, and I don't remember. I think it was Detroit or something, and he got
oh, this is
help.
bulletproof vest guy.
Yeah, so he
Yeah,
got held up a bunch of fucking times delivering pizzas, and wanted to make uh, a lightweight bulletproof vest,
soft body armor.
soft body armor, and he was able to create something as a fucking as a teenager, not even in college. Um and now he goes around and, well, I don't know if he does it anymore. I don't know if he's still alive or what, but he made this video cassette that he
Mm.
sent out across the fucking ether to all parts of the world unknown. And it was essentially, this is my body armor.
And he
And
tested on
then
himself.
yeah, I'm gonna show you what it's like.
I
And
remember this guy fucking from back in the 80s. He's like big 44 Magnum. He just turns it into his own guts and
no, this
fucking.
is
Well, that
yeah,
was one of the videos he used to send out.
yeah. This is not the movie Magnum Force. This has no relation to it. This is a guy who would advertise his soft body armor by using a 357 Magnum to fucking shoot himself with.
Mm, yeah,
Considering how soft body armor is so prevalent now, he's probably not doing time anymore. No, he's probably not doing it anymore. Um, but with that said, Farty's got a little bit of an announcement for you guys. So before we get into the video, so go ahead, Farty.
I'll actually show the video first because yeah, this is a little bit of a story.
All right, well, we'll do the video first. We'll do it. It's 2 hours long though, Farty.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay. Well, then I'll regale you with what's just happened. It all started right about probably about this time last week. Been up for 2 days already, and I was thinking, yeah, I'll go have a fucking snooze. And then there's a knock at the fucking door, and there's a couple of blokes from the rural fire service, and they're like, yeah, this rain, we're thinking it's gonna get pretty fucking bad, so we're announcing a mandatory evacuation. I'm like, yeah, fuck, really? Well, all right. Well, how's the fucking the king tide situation? Because that's the thing that fucks us up around. And they're like, we don't know. Anyway, so like, oh, all right. Well, look, I'll go have a look at fucking the Bureau of Meteorology, and I'll have a fucking squiz at the universe and see what the fucking go is, and I'll have a think about it. So they're already, yeah, no worries, and they bug it off, and then about half an hour later, I thought I'd go check the bite because there's a part of the river near me that's called the Bite, and there's a bridge that goes across it, and if that bridge goes under, then it sort of looks pretty bad, and it's in a gully, and I go up to the bite and have a look, and it's 3/4 up the fucking hill, and the bridge is completely fucking. It's like fucking 30 foot underwater by now. I'm like, yes, this one looks like it might not be something I can fuck around with. So everybody else in the streets are ready to panic, and they're all fucking grabbing their stuff and fucking off and stuff like that. And we've just had the really big fucking flood. Well, the supposedly big fucking flood 6 years ago, and sort of by averages, we're not supposed to have another decent one for like another 50 years. And so I thought everyone's going a bit overboard with this, and probably that's why you love that generator, right? Yeah, it is.
Yeah, that generator's been a fucking lifesaver for you, hasn't it?
Oh fuck yeah! I bought it. I bought it when I got back to my house from the last flood, and it worked. Fucking, it was working pretty much day and night for about 6 weeks non-stop,
Holy shit.
without fault. And I've used it like about 9 or 10 times in like just general power outages and stuff like that. They've been fucking hooking up other cunts' powers, and we've had planned power outages.
Oh
This is
yeah,
the
so
second
it's
one
due for
for
for a
service.
tear down.
Yeah. I just got to find some cunt to do it now, because like the bloke I bought it off does pumps, but he doesn't do generators for some reason.
Huh.
And it's not the generator part of it that's the problem. It's like the engine that, like,
Oh, okay.
wouldn't mind getting it,
Yeah.
getting the spark plug cleaned, and I don't know what else. Like, I topped up and checked the oil in it, and it's but it's a fucking little trooper. It's been been fucking reliable as all hell, and this time for some reason, like, we got the power on pretty quickly, so I haven't needed to use it as much. But fucking that little Westinghouse 2400i, fucking holy shit, best investment I ever had. I made, especially for this kind of reason. Anyway, so everyone else is fucked off. My neighbour Wayne, which is funny because I helped him build the house, and I was saying to him, like, I'm sure you fucking need a small maintenance engine guy. Yeah, there's a mower joint in Taree that says that they do pumps and generators as well as lawn mowers and whippersnippers and shit like that. So I'll go see them. But anyway, fucking, like, the neighbour Wayne, he reckons he built his house up, and I'm like, I think you fucked your math up here, son. It's like, no, I'm a slightly higher elevation, so the math works out. And I'm like, yeah, okay, yes, well, fucking eyeballs and logic dictates the other way, but anyway, we'll see. Fucking, and the last time I had like about 5 or 6 feet before it came up to the living space, and everything downstairs got wrecked. And this time I really didn't care about anything downstairs because I haven't put anything down there that was important. And all I really cared about was that the cats were safe, and I got the car out this time. This last time I didn't get the car out because, well, we were asleep when it happened. We woke up and it was already peak height, and the car went for a swim, which was really annoying because I had this Mitsubishi 380 that some old bloke had fucking built up as a highway cruiser for his retirement, like leather interior, wood trim, fucking all this kind of shit, and like all the bells and whistles that you could put in that car. And fuck, it was a comfy little car. Great highway cruiser, real decent economy on it, and I had flashing lights in it, and it would have been amazingly fucking useful. But anyway, I was a hell of a lot more use this time, just having the car. And funnily enough, like, Mum bought a Volkswagen Jetta, brand new. It was a supercharged turbo, and when I lost the 380, I thought, well, fucking Mum's having trouble getting in and out of the Jetta, and like, there was an option of a Honda CRV and a fucking Toyota RAV4, and I was looking at the two of them, and I thought, well, fucking Mum's got to get in and out of this bloody thing, and may as well fucking see which one fucking sizes her better. and the RAV4 was like basically the perfect height for it, just to slip in and out of instead of like climbing up or climbing down into. So I got that instead. And partially the RAV4 was supposed to be for a situation like this where like I might have needed a bit more ground clearance and all this, but of course it's all the way up in Port Macquarie, 100 fucking kilometres away, and I was stuck with the Jetta. This will become a bit more fucking pertinent later. Anyway, so I got the cats upstairs and sort of locked them in, thinking that like this wouldn't be as bad as the last one, but still pretty bad. Didn't want the cats downstairs, and fucking got the car out on the road, and I'm sort of watching it come through my other neighbour Kim's backyard, and it's filling up her backyard, and she's in the lower elevation to me, and then I'm watching it creep through the back fence and sort of like that side of the house. My house is up on a slab kind of thing, so it's a few feet higher than her ground level, anyways. And I'm watching the sort of that end of it fill up, and then the backyard's filling up, and then sort of migrated out the front. I'm watching it sort of cut off the front yard and cross me driveway, and thought, well, that's about all I can do, so I'll bugger off. And they had a fucking evacuation center at the RSL club. Now the RSL club's like what we call it's a returned servicemen's leagues club, which I'm basically the fucking proxy member by fucking existing. But you still got to sign up to the individual clubs, and I'm not a member of this one. I think the one we've got's actually pretty crap considering. Anyway, when I get up there, I see this lady talking to a son. The son's got a dog, and they're not letting pets in. And I had kind of had to leave the cats at home because, well, fucking, they'd be freaking out and shit, and I wasn't gonna fucking put them in some fucking shelter and leave them there and abandon them. So they're better off here and they're comfortable and shit.
Yeah.
Anyway, this guy had fucking big fucking gash just between his eyes, and he'd had a fall and hit his head on something. So me being a nosy fuck medic, I've gone up and hey, just look at your head for a sec. And I wanted to give him the 20 questions and the 4-hour observation, but he was sort of freaking out about the prospects of having to leave the dog somewhere and all this. So he ended up electing to go back to his place. Yeah, that was Dallas and his mother Barbara. Keep them in mind because they come back into the story later.
Okay.
So I go upstairs and I sign in, and there was another bloke, I can't remember his name, and he only lived just up around the corner from where I'm at. He was living in a caravan. He managed to get that to high ground, but his trail bike was still sitting down where it was. And he mentioned it to me, and he's like, "Oh, I'm fucking worried about my trail bike." I said, "Listen, man, like, if you got any way of getting it out?" He goes, "Yeah, I got my ute." And I'm like, "Well, fuck, if you want to get it out, I'll come and help you do it now. Because, we might want to take the opportunity while we got it." He goes, "Oh, you sure?" I'm like, yeah. Like, fucking not fuck around with it. So we go back down, and where this bloke with his trail bike was about 100 meters up the road from where it got the last time. And then when we got down there, it was already knee deep where his place was. So it's already fucking worse than the last time. And we managed to get his trail bike out in the last minute and fucking put it up on his ute, and got that out of there, and fucking sort of that was that for the night pretty much. And there's the two ladies that were running the evacuation center that are like, there's these fucking, the thing with the government that they just deputise fucking government employees to run these bloody things, and they could be anything from fucking school teachers all the way up to fucking like corrections officers or Department of Justice workers or some fucking shit like that. And but the two ladies that we had there, they'd never been formally trained on this before. It's the first time they've done it, and like my assessment of them after the first 3 days was like I can't fault them, and they were actually pretty fucking amazing at their job, especially when you figure out that they haven't done it before. And anyway, so since I've been through this before, and like I was pretty helpful the last time, there was a lady from the Red Cross there, and she remembered me from the last time, and it's like, how you going? It's like, yeah, I was just fucking pissed off as normal. And she goes, oh, well, you're pretty helpful the last time. It's like, wasn't really in the mood to be a bloody of any use or any help. And I was tired as fuck, and didn't want a bar of it. But of course, autopilot fucking kicks in, and of course, fucking they ended up being rather helpful. Anyway, so fucking next morning, get up. I go for a drive around. I get to the top of me street, and holy fuck, it's all the way up to the high school where it's like the starts getting like the elevation starts increasing drastically. I'm like, oh shit. Well, that's got to be up around that's got to be up on the second floor. Fucking, and we could hear the river from where the RSL club was, and it sounded like a fucking jet engine. Like, it sounded like we were right next to an airport with the airliners APUs going off. And I'm thinking, well, fuck, that's fucking moving. Where last time we were standing in a babbling brook, pretty much where I was at, and around the corner it was Whitewater Rapids, and I thought, well, fuck, if it's that bad, my house is probably gone, the cat's dead, fucking, yeah, couldn't get anywhere fucking near the joint to find out. So I was a little fucking panicky about that. I get back and I said to the senior, I took photos of it, and I went and showed this guy who, like, we got his trail bike out the night before, and I said, hey, you're going to be fucking glad we did what we did last night. And I showed him, he's like, oh, fuck. Yeah. Like, this one was far fucking worse than the last one, man. So rest of that day was basically sitting around twiddling me thumbs, and Barbara was sort of panicking about her son because, well, where he was on a lower level than where everybody else was, and I was sort of thinking, fucking, well, yep, his place is inundated. Like, if he's not being picked up off the fucking roof, I think the cunt's dead. The phones go out, the power goes out, except for like in the main tent. Oh no, first night, yeah. We fucking remind me to get back on the Dallas and Barbara later. The first night, about 10 o'clock, a fucking helicopter comes overhead. We're talking this other bloke, and he's saying like he's SES, State Emergency Service, and like, oh yeah, bloody, there's a copper sitting over in the park across from the fucking the RSL club that we can see. And he's sitting there with his lights going, and thinking, oh fucking, this cunt's bogged in the park, haha, suck shit, fucking. Or did he just fuck off back to the police station, left his fucking lights going, and all this kind of shit? And then the helicopter flies overhead, and he's like, oh no, that's not for us, buddy. He's just past us and he's going off somewhere else. I'm like, no, he's going to he's going to have a look see, and he's coming around to actually come in and land. So I've gone out to the park and fucking got the helicopter coming in, and it was a Casevac. There was a lady that was in the actual fucking evacuation center herself, and she lots and lots of health problems, according to this security guard who was a useless piece of fucking shit. She's the product of inbreeding, and later on, it sort of, I put two and two together and thought this security guard kind of looked like this Sheila and her mother. Like the mother, like, used to see these two walking around, like, they're basically bald head, big fat ladies, and fucking, sort of didn't look like they were all there. I'm thinking, well, this cunt looks like fucking these two, so, like, yeah, he only knows that they're fucking inbred because he's the fucking father. Anyway, so the helicopter lands, and they check this Sheila out, and she didn't want to go to Tamworth, which was their next port of call. and the weather had closed in. So now we've got this fucking medevac helicopter that's kind of stuck with us, and the crew's trying to figure out what they're going to do next. And I'm downstairs with the crew, just try to be a bit helpful with them. And the first problem was like we're trying to find a place for the pilot to have a rest break. Now the importance of this is that like the pilot can't just go fucking camp out on the floor. He needs like comfy bed, nice and quiet, fucking no fucking disturbance and all this. And we just could not provide that. We didn't have enough beds for everybody as it was. And couldn't put him in a room full of fucking lights and people moving around and all this kind of shit. It just wasn't going to happen. And until such as a stage as he got his fatigue break, basically that chopper was fucking grounded. So we'd basically fucking had the potential of removing one air unit and a full fucking crew from the state's fucking the state's inventory. Anyway, fucking, you still there?
Yeah, my cat's
Oh, good.
just kind of meowing quite a bit.
Oh, no, you just went really quiet for a sec. Yeah, yeah. Like I'm sort of still running off a hotspot on my phone at the moment, internet wise, and so like I'm not really sure when the internet might not drop out.
No,
Um,
you're good. It's just ravages. Meh,
yeah.
meh.
Anyway, fucking, so I went around trying to find a fucking bed for this guy. All the hotels are booked out because this happened like right between two fucking events in town. There was like, we've got an abattoir in the joint, and so they had meat week. So there's all these people up there for functions. There was 0 hotel rooms. I even went to the local police station to see if they fucking, if like, because it's country bumpkin town, the copper fucking stays there 24/7. So they've got fucking like a, sleeping quarters and stuff like that. But of course, the cops were not there, and you can never find a bastard when you need one. Um, and so come back, and I'm like, oh, yeah, no joy with that. And that's when one of the medics has gone, fucking, well, if we're going to be stuck here, we might as well just run as road crew because the rest of the crew didn't need the fatigue break. It was just the pilot we needed to worry about. And if they're going to be stuck there, well, these guys thought, well, fuck it, we may as well be of some use. So the only paramedics we had in the joint, and their gear was far better than the like the first responder fucking local medics that we had in the fire. They were the only fucking medical team that we had that was like official. Like we had other guys, like there was a bloke from the VRA, which is Volunteer Rescue Association. Had me. I had no gear. The VRA bloke only has basic gear because they're supposed to run with ambos anyways. We didn't have any ambulance at all, and fucking. So when the medics were like, "All right, well, we might as well run with road crew," and they're calling their comms and saying, "Yeah, that's what they were intending on doing," and then one of the blokes says, "Oh, can we have access to a car?" And I'm like, "Yep, not a problem. I got one." But there's Daniel Ney. He's with the VRA. He's in town, and he's probably a better option because, well, one, he's got lights and sirens, and two, well, if you need a rescue, he's right. Like rescue guy, he's right there. Um, so they're like thankful for me fucking trying to be helpful and shit. And then we are trying to figure out how we're going to utilize the RSL's phone system uh, to sort out communication. So like they had cordless phones that the staff use to when they're walking around the place so they can be contactable. They were just trying to like, and I said to the security guard, like, you know how to use the phone system? Like, so if fucking triple O calls here, you can page these guys. And this fuckwit security goes, why don't you just stop helping? I mean, you don't even work here. And it's like, well, if you're not going to be helpful, you stupid fat fuck, well, just shut the fuck up then. Anyway, fucking turns out he didn't know how to use the bloody phones. And later on, it turns out he couldn't even identify the difference between a phone and a remote control because he called them, they called us handsets a
What the
remote control at
fuck?
one point. Yes, no, he's a fucking idiot.
How
He's a
okay.
stereo. He's a stereotypical fucking example of the fucking retards that I'm talking about in this place, right? fucking, you say something like, "Oh, I don't know about that." It's like, of course you fucking don't. You're fucking
I
inbred, you cockhead.
I agree with Destro here. This is just the perfect fuck up from top to
Mm.
bottom.
Oh yeah. Anyway, so while this is all going on, another bloke with the medics, he's on a fucking the tablet looking at the weather and shit. And at like just around about that point, they've sort of like, hang on, we've got a window, right? Well, we're not taking a casualty out now. We've got a window to get out. We may as well take it. And they had a quick discussion and elected to try and fuck off. Um, so anyway, so got back out to the helicopter and I'm watching him. Was going to film him take off and all this, and then the VRA bloke rocks up. And he gets out, he gets around the passenger side, and he's now fucking helping someone out the car. And I've run over to him and said, "Mate, you want to fucking hurry up? They're trying to make a window." And he goes, "Yeah, so are we." I'm like, "No, no, no, they're literally fucking off now for the fucking move it, dude." Anyway, so I ran over the helicopter and I said, "Yeah, guys, I'm about to fuck your plans up. We've got a casualty." And they're like, "Oh shit." Anyway, it was only an asthma attack and stuff like that. So we chucked him on a nebulizer, chucked him on a gurney, and they just done a scoop and go. It's the first time I've ever seen a scoop and go for an asthma attack. But anyway, they evacuated that guy out to Tamworth. Anyway, go back to the fucking RSL club and standing out front, and there's a few other blokes from upstairs, and I was just telling them what's going on. And said, yeah, no, they left the casualty that we were supposed to show up for, and they ended up taking another one. This is when that dumb fuck security guard goes, "Oh, I didn't hear about that." And I was like, "Well, I don't fucking care what you don't know about. That's what fucking happened." "Well, how would you know?" "Because I was fucking there for it. Now shut the fuck up, you idiot." Anyway, so yeah. So that was the first night. Yeah. So the next morning I went out and did a little reconnoiter and all this kind of stuff, and then um, I was running around making sure there's like, okay, everybody fucking, if you get any cuts and scratches and shit like that, with the mud and all this, because pretty much this is everyone's septic tanks now being fucking dispersed all around the joint. It's infectious material. Don't fuck around with it. Make sure you keep your wounds clean and all this kind of stuff because it will cause an infection. And I noted that like last time in my street, there was my neighbour Wayne, and there was a bloke up the other end of the street. Both had injuries on their feet. They were walking around in the mud and shit like that. And I told them, fucking, yeah, don't fuck around. Da, 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 da. And of course, those two dipshits didn't fucking listen. And both of them end up having to go to hospital, fucking, like, urgent fucking cases of septicemia. In fact, both of them almost died. In fact, Wayne has still got fucking problems from 6 years ago because the infection just won't fucking go away and it got into his bone. So he's now hobbling around, fucking can't walk properly and all this kind of stuff, and is constantly fucking, getting this revolving infection in his fucking foot. Um, so I was making mention of that too. So just to reinforce, like, really don't fuck around because this will kill you. Anyway, so getting back to Barbara, um, she's now worried because she can't. It's now evidently far worse than what it was before, and she can't contact her son. He's already had a head injury, and I didn't get to check a concussion or anything like that. So for all we know, he could be fucking passed out face down in the water. Um, and she's trying to fucking get onto the emergency services, and she didn't have a car or anything like that to go and check on herself. And I said, I was saying to her like constantly, like, yeah, keep me abreast of the situation. And if worse comes to worse, I'll go down on foot and I'll try and see if I can get to him. She's like, no, you can't. You can't. There's like, there's like several streets before we get to my place, and like you just can't get to him. And so, look, well, I'm part amphibian, so it doesn't matter. Um, anyway, fucking a few hours later, she's really starting to panic, and she can't get onto the state emergency service, and one of their units just happened to rock up out the front of the RSL just as I was there, and I just went to posing the stupid questions like, "Look, there's this lady over here. Her son's gone missing. Fucking, we kind of know where he is, but he's unresponsive. He's had a head injury. and we don't know whether the unresponsiveness is because of lack of communications or whether he might be dead. This might be a recovery as opposed to a rescue. So
Oh my
they've given
God.
some advice, and she's finally gotten on the phone to the SES. For some reason, it's the Wollongong office, which is like fucking 300 fucking miles away from us.
Yeah.
And this chick on the phone's trying to fucking run the incident from a call center, which is what you do not fucking do. And the two guys in the SES truck, they went inside for something, and as they went inside, one of them said, "Yeah, what do you expect when the situations run from Wollongong?" And they're like, "Well, that's never usually a good fucking statement." So Barbara's come back and said, what they say, and she goes, "Oh well," she said, "Yeah, no, they'd So the SES blokes had told me, yeah, no, just go around to the fucking SES station and fucking tell them directly." And she was being told that no, don't do that. That it'll be booked over through the comms center. And when she said that to me, I said, "Well, I reckon we do what these blokes say because, well, fucking, it's never really a good sign when the guys on the ground are shit talking their fucking command center. So, well, we'll do both. You've done your part. Jump in the car. I'll take you around there, and we'll go and fucking sort something out." So went in there and explained the situation that like it's a boat rescue. He's actually just down the street. Like he's only like fucking 200 fucking meters from where we are. It's just like, yeah, it's just water between us and him. He's uncontactable, and it might very well be a recovery as opposed to a rescue. But just in case of, can we get the reinforcements down? So we called the fireys down because the medics. They had their boat ready to go, and they fucking chucked her in the boat to get the dog. I reassured them that the dog was friendly as fuck. Like I
Right.
only met the dog first off last night, and it was like perfectly fine with me. So like, yeah. Anyway, so they went and got him out. He was okay. He'd had another fall, and he had the cut just under his eye now. So he passed out again. Um, and yeah, they got him out, and the dog was fine. By the next morning, we'd had about 3 or 4 people in the fucking in the lobby of the RSL clubs with their dogs as well, and they weren't being kicked out. So I was like, said to this bloke, "Look, fucking don't worry about it." And there's people down there with their dogs now, and they're not being kicked out. So I don't think that fucking not allowing pets thing is a bit of an issue anymore. So got him out, fucking reunited that family.
Well, that was good.
And later discussions, he's like deaf in one ear and he's had brain tumors that have been removed. It's kind of a hereditary thing. His father's like completely fucked up. This Barbara lady, she's been putting up with this since 1979, looking after her husband, and now her sort of ably fucking diminished fucking son, who's probably going to have to go and have another look at those tumors on his head, because it's sort of like after a while, I sort of got diagnosed that it could very well be a blockage of blood vessels going to his head, which is probably causing the passing out issues and stuff like that. The tumours might be growing again, might be closing off some blood vessels and causing an anemic sort of uh, so an anemic style fucking circumstance where like he gets up, there's not enough blood going to the head, and he just drops like a sack of shit. This was after like when he was taking a piss. He was trying to heave out a piss, and it was like going into fucking G lock pretty much, like fucking. Anyway, fucking. So that was that casualty, and like the next day or so, just sort of just moseying around, doing bits and bobs where I could, fucking here and there. That fucking having the car was so much more fucking useful this time, man. Like last time, I was just feeling fucking so useless. It wasn't funny because I couldn't fucking move, and I was relying on everybody else for transport. So I just couldn't go and do my own thing, patch up things where I see fit and all this. This is where like I'm one of those people that like if any kind of asks you, "Hey, what about this guy over here?" Your instant response is to be him. Don't worry about him, because I'm probably fucking doing something that hasn't, like, no one's figured out yet. I'm just making the place fucking safer and better, and just helping out. But I'm actually doing something tangible to fucking help. And those medics on the first night, the air evac team, they were really thankful for all the fucking help that I was
Oh,
giving
I
them
bet.
too. Sort of like they just went, geez, that fucking security guy was useless. Like
Well,
as
you had
useful as
how
tits on
much
a pole.
experience too?
Oh yeah, I know. But like, yeah, not being in the professional capacity or attached to any sort of service at the moment, you kind of sort of like got to run the gambit of people going, "Who the fuck are you?" Yeah, kind of thing. But that's another thing that like I've had so many times in my life. The two most common statements I've ever heard from people is like, "Where the fuck did you come from?" and "Thank fuck you're here." And so I was treating a lot of like minor casualties and like just like cuts and scratches and shit like that. Fucking just like there's no point getting the fucking medics out for that and scrounging supplies and all this kind of stuff. I do have some certificates. Like my first aid certificates are fucking out of date, but fucking the last time I went to go and get my first aid certificate redone, it was actually through St John's Ambulance Brigades, and there was one of the instructors was a lady called Helen Banyu, and she was actually one of the officers in St John's Ambulance when I was actually back in like I actually was in the combined cadet divisions back in the day. And she remembered me, and it was funny too because like she actually told me to shut up and stop answering questions for everybody else because she needed to assess everyone else. And then it got to a point where we were doing the practical assessment on bandaging, and we went off in pairs and sort of like so. So my partner had to bandage me up, and then I had to bandage them up. And she didn't even bother assessing my bandages because she knew that fucking I was like I knew what I was doing. But when my partner bandaged me up, she comes past, she goes, "And you didn't help her with this now, did you?" I'm like, no, she did this all by herself. I'm a horrible fucking student.
I
Anyway,
bet.
um, so it was like third day. Um, the water had subsided like heaps fucking far, and I got most of the way down to my place, try and see if I could get there. Now there's like 3 inches of fucking mud all over the bloody road. And I get down there and fucking like thinking, shit, I really could have used the RAV floor right about now. And like there's fucking the Jetta is now up in Port Macquarie sitting in Mum's garage. I've managed to get up there and swap the cars around. And it's fucking caked in mud.
Oh, I
Like
bet, dude.
like
It
get out
got
there
a
and
nice, good fucking earth bath.
yeah, and I've only just had the fucking thing detailed too, so inside and out, man. Like
We have
deep
a
fucking
saying in the
clean.
States, okay? We have a saying in the States during the summer, never get your car washed because if you get your car washed, it's going to rain and fuck up your car wash.
Well, we do that out here specifically to try and break droughts. Doesn't usually
so
work, but you know,
so you had the misfortune of I'm going to get it detailed and then we're just going to get fucking flooded. So
yeah,
let's all blame Farty for the flood.
yeah. So, well, I got all the way down to where we'd retrieved the motorcycle and a few nights beforehand, and I opened the door and put one foot out, and my foot just like, crap. Now I got to put that fucking back in the car. Oh well, fuck it. So there's like fucking mud's caked all through the fucking driver's footwell in the car, and well, fuck, there's nothing you can do about that. Yeah, who cares? It's a workhorse, not a show pony. Like we got it for the fucking range, and it's supposed to be a highway cruiser anyway. So who cares? We can get it cleaned later. Fuck it, doesn't matter. Anyway, so go back up and I took photos of it too, and I went back to show this bloke where his motorbike was, and he's like, yeah, he was really fucking glad he got it out now, because yeah, the water moving, the place looks like a fucking war zone, um, and it started freaking me out a bit with the parallels of like back in the army with the fire brigades and sort of like my past was starting to sort of meld together with some of the similarities. So the
Right.
place is all covered in mud and it looks like fucking like we're out the back of Buggery and just remove the houses and it started feeling like fucking back at Singleton, right? But there's this chick in the fucking fireys up here, who reminds me of this woman that I used to know called Kate Wilson. And so same face, different place, different uniform, similar fucking seniority dynamic, right? Um, and that's starting to freak me out because two worlds are sort of merging and shit. And like, because of the black market with the cigarettes now, like even the fucking cigarettes are like the same price as they were back in the 90s.
Yeah, I bet, dude.
And
If
I'm like, yeah,
if you're gonna like just punish people who are obeying the law, then fucking all you're gonna do is create people who don't obey the law. And what do you get after that? You get chaos.
well, I'm kind of running under the whole thing. It's better to fucking ask for forgiveness than permission
Oh yeah, for
because
sure.
because 9 times out of 10, like you let me prove the point, it just shuts you up and you don't have a fucking complaint at the end of it. So the whole point of having to ask permission is sort of negated by the whole fucking, well, what are you complaining about? I fucking fix the problem.
Yeah, no,
You
for
know?
sure. I wholeheartedly agree.
Yeah.
Um,
So the when I was back there, there was another bloke who'd managed to get into his house, and he'd had this like rash all up one leg and all over, like, he up his right leg and all over his right foot, and all over his left foot. And a lot of it had started fucking opening up and weeping and all this kind of stuff. And I've already mentioned this bit on Twitter. There was a very surreal conversation with this guy. So he'd come up and he asked if I could have a look at it for him. Like, yeah, no worries. And I went down to the chemist because it was one of the chemists that had been able to open up, and got some stuff to treat it with. I already we got this alcohol antiseptic spray. I just initially fucking sprayed that. You just let that air for a bit. And I'll go down to the chemist, and he'd already got some betadine ointment. And I just grabbed a big box of fucking gauzes and some micropore tape to just fucking cover it up with.
right.
And so I got back, fucking, I painted all of these scabs with the fucking with the betadine, and I was dressing it. And whilst I was putting the dressing on it, fucking,
Son of a
I
bitch.
said to him that, like, ideally I'd like to put you on a regimen of precautionary antibiotics because, like, this is a lot and you've got a lot in there and you've probably already got an infection. We just haven't seen it present itself yet. And even if you don't, it won't fucking hurt you.
Right.
And he's gone, I said, like, if you got a doctor, we can, because, like, that's one of the few things I can't do is I can't prescribe shit. And even if I
Yeah.
could, I didn't have a prescription book or anything like that to do so with anyway. So,
Yeah.
and I also wanted to consult with his doctor as well. And he made mention that he could get his oncologist to send over an e-script to the chemist, which is no big deal. Fucking easiest thing on the planet. All I just need to do is ask. But I kind of want to consult him too. As soon as I heard oncologist, I thought, well, okay, so he might need something a bit different. And so I was going to talk to his doctor and fucking consult with him and basically defer to his advice on that. Because he more experience with the casualty and a better idea of what we should do.
Right.
And fucking so we did that. And whilst I was dressing the guy's wound, I was sort of like, oh, oncologist. Okay, so uh, like he'd also mentioned too, just prior to this, that those, like, the rash kind of looking thing had been around for a while and just wouldn't go away. And with wounds and cancers, if you don't know you've got cancer and you have a wound that just won't go away, that's kind of a sign that you it's usually
That's
something that would show that, like, yeah, fucking when the doctor says, like, yeah, how long is this? 6 months and it won't go away, and then that's usually how they'll find the cancer in the first place in some cases. But if you've got the cancer, it can compromise your immune system, especially if you're doing treatment like, say, chemotherapy or anything like that. It just fucking kills your immune system completely, and like just fucks all your cells, because that's the whole point of the chemotherapy, is to destroy fucking everything, and then your body builds it back up again. So you're killing the cancer, plus you're killing everything else around it, pretty much. It's like a mild case of radiation poisoning you get, but it's dosed and it's like focused, not like just random fucking like demon core kind of shit.
Yeah, this guy's basically done already.
Well, I didn't know that at this point in time. So when he'd mentioned that the rash had been around for a while and that he's having trouble shaking it, I said to him, so like so with the you go to an oncologist, so evidently you've had cancer. So what, is it in remission, or like have you still got it? And he just starts rattling off all the places that it's in. It's like liver, kidneys, bone.
Yeah,
Blah, blah,
this
blah,
I'd
blah,
seen on Twitter where you're talking about it, and
yeah. So like I've just sort of like, after he's said like about the third or fourth thing, I'm like, oh, so you're screwed then, aren't you? And he sort of sat back a bit and he's like, had a little think. He's like, yeah, I guess I am. And I thought, it didn't dawn on me till like the next day. I was like, oh, I could have been a bit more fucking tactful about that. Fucking hell.
yeah, Farty,
Shit,
why are you such a dick?
yeah, my bed matter fucking sucks. So yeah, that was pretty a little surreal conversation that I had there. It was like talking to a dead guy, and sort of. Anyway, bloody fucking a little bit later on. So like at one end of the room, there's like, because it's a club, they've got a separate smoking room, and I come out of there and I'm walking to the exit to go downstairs for some reason, and I'm walking past like a series of tables. There was all these people sort of sitting at this table, and then one guy goes, "Oh, he's really cold. Quick, get him a blanket." And I look over and I'm like, "Nah, he's seizing." Fucking, so I go around to the other side of the table and I start sort of like buffering him so he's not going to knock himself on hard shit, because it's that's really all you do with people who are seizing whilst they're going through the convulsions. You basically just sort of, if there's nothing around them, let them go. But if they've got obstacles and shit, don't try and fucking restrict them. Just sort of lightly put yourself around them so they bounce off you. You're a lot softer than everything else, and they won't hurt themselves that way. Anyway,
I know that from personal experience. Two of my exes had epilepsy.
Yeah, well, this one was a bit of a strange one because he was lucid through the whole lot, which was actually a good thing because and like he'd had this a lot before, and like after he had his first little bout, there were like small sporadic clusters of them. So he'd have a bout that was like about 5 to 7 seconds, and then like a 5 second break, and then you go in for another 5 or 6 seconds, and then another 5 or 6 second break, and then there's a quick one of about 3 seconds, and sort of he was announcing them every time they were coming in, but every time they'd stop, he was moaning and breathing and all this kind of stuff. So one, he was showing me that he was still conscious and lucid, and like with his breathing and all that kind of stuff, he was showing me that like he hadn't swallowed his tongue or his teeth or fucking hadn't aspirated up into his throat or anything like that, which was good. There was a bunch of shit I didn't have to worry about.
Right.
It was just that he kept fucking having these tiny little sporadic little bouts. And like after like about the fourth bout, he'd had a break long enough. It's like, so what do you usually do for this, mate? He goes, pills. And I go, where are they? And he's pointed to a bag, and I grabbed the bag, and before I could get one out, he's gone into another one. So I braced him up again. And like while that's happening, I'm like, yeah, move the fucking table and all this. And the lady's going, oh, go grab a mattress. I'm like, yeah, please do that. Fucking. So she's gone off to grab that, and fucking, he's had another couple of bouts, and like then I've just thrown the bag to some random person, sort of like, get him out a pill. Fucking. So yeah, got him out a pill, and then fucking, there's thankfully like about a 10-second pause where he was able to get a pill down and a glass of water down, and then it took about 20 minutes for it to kick in. And then after a couple more bouts, we got him down onto the mattress and like moved everything out of the road, and it was basically just let him go until the pill kicked in. And eventually it started like subsiding and all this, and fucking that was okay there. And by the time the pill had kicked in, that's when the fireys had rocked up and this cake chick had rocked up, and it's like, oh, you again, fucking flashbacks. Um, um, so they'd sorted it out, and then it was funny too because like the dressing work that I did on the cancer patient was like really shit. And I said to her, "You want to fucking laugh and see the worst fucking dressing job in history?" And she's like, "What?" So I said, "Go check out this guy over here." And she goes, "Who did that?" And I was like, "That was me." So that was like the fifth or sixth casualty that I had that day. Fucking oh shit, so much fucking happened. Well, the fourth day, the ladies that were already running it, for some reason, they got this new bloke in and this Asian lady, and I swear to God, these cunts were fucking school teachers. There's like no fucking clue whatsoever. And at night time, like everything had already sort of set into like a bit of a routine. They turned the lights off. They still had TV going. Anyone who was sleeping could sleep, and it was mainly the people who were sleeping were making the most noise because of snoring. And there was even like one mob that was near the TV, and like they were fucking snoring so badly. Like one of them sounded like a fucking jackhammer, and the other one just sounded like it was like a V8 revving. And I was taking the piss out of the one like that was sounded like a jackhammer. I was making fucking like motions like burst, like machine gun fire burst. So I was like, and I'm like, sitting there pretending like to fire a machine gun while they were doing it. And because there's a bunch of other insomniacs there too that were sitting up all night with me and having a bit of a giggle over that. And like I I'd run under fucking 2 hours sleep fucking
you
the whole
kind of
fucking time.
have to have people to have a little bit of fun with in a situation like that, because otherwise, like, everyone's just going to be in a terrible mood.
Yeah.
And it's just going to make everything else just so much harder to fucking deal with. Like, imagine imagine how much of the running around you would have actually gotten done after leaving the shelter the other day.
Mm.
If your mood was affected by bullshit bickering just going on for days in the fucking shelter.
Oh, well, fucking like it all wasn't all fucking plain sailing and shit
Well,
like that.
yeah.
There's like a couple of antagonistic fucking things like the third night after I'd had an argument with this fucking idiot fucking security guard for like the fourth fucking time. Like he'd said something fucking stupid and gave him shit for it. Like I'd come back from somewhere and some bloke was halfway up the stairs and had asked this security guard a question, and I've just walked up the line. It's like, keep going, much now. Don't ask this cunt what the fuck's going on. Doesn't even know what a phone is.
Wow.
Kept walking. Fucking, I just started taking a piss out of this cunt. Anyway, fucking, I know who he is too. I've seen him like 100 times in town before, and I will fucking see this prick again. It's kind of a case of like, yeah, mate, you might have some authority here, but every cunt's got to walk across my fucking parade ground sometime. It's the old thing with watch your mouth as a Q poke, because you might run the Q store, mate, and you might be God there, but some like the fucking you've got to confront the CSM on the parade ground one fucking day, son, and then you're fucking mine. So fucking it finally, someone had donated an actual proper bed, and it was one of those fold up ones, and
Oh, like a fucking like a cot.
yeah, fold up cot, and everyone had elected to give it to Barbara's husband Rob, because he was like, he had a couple of brain tumors taken out, and this is like back in 1979. And like I say, this Barbara lady had been putting up with this since then, and like, you know, lots of people would have fucking given up and, you know, chucked him in hospice and moved on by then, but she'd stayed with him the whole time, and, you know, like, fucking trooper,
Yeah.
you know, lovely lady, what a fucking trooper. And while he was ambulatory himself, and he could basically sort of get up and do his own thing and all this kind of stuff, he still did have like a lot of issues and problems, like communication wise, and still needed a bit to eat. And he did sort of have a bit of an accident at one point, and Anne from the Red Cross come up to me and she goes, "Oh, I'm like," and by this point too, lots of people had just fucking started just assuming that like I had something to do with the thing, so they were coming to see me with their problems. And it's kind of where like I've already made the decision. If I was ever in a situation like the TV show Lost, where like, you know, we're all stuck on an island or something like that, and fucking I'm fucking off into the bush by myself, because I've been in these kinds of situations so often where people look for me to look to me for leadership, and it'll come to a point where like an important decision needs to be made, and I'll say, right, well, this is the best thing we can do, and then some arsehole at back goes, I think we should do the dumbest fucking thing, yeah, and then everyone will listen to them, and I'm like, oh, what's the fucking point? So yeah, people are already coming to me for like to find out what the fuck's going on and advice, and, you know, you're getting treated and all this kind of shit, and they're, you know, but people who didn't learn my name just called me the camo guy, because I was wearing camo trousers. I was also wearing the "I'm the nicest asshole you'll ever meet" shirt.
were you wearing camo pants too, Farty?
Yeah. And I got this shirt that says "I'm the nicest asshole you'll ever meet." So I was wearing that as well. Fucking yeah, like some people like, yeah, learnt my name. They're like, "Oh, what's your name?" Like, "Oh, Phil." Yeah. "Oh, like, yeah, it's great that you're here." And I was like, "Yeah, everyone needs a Phil." Fucking so Lisa, one of the ladies that was running the joint the first 3 days, she'd asked me and a bunch of other blokes if we could help out sort the bed out. And I'm like, "Oh, yeah, I'll go do that, no worries." And I've dragged it in, and there's his fucking security guard standing there. And I took one look at him and went, "Actually, no, no, no. See, I'd be helping if I did this, and I used to actually fucking deliver and set up beds on Captain Snooze for on the weekends as an actual job. But see, I'd be helping." And then I went to walk away, and I took 2 steps, and I went, "Ah, you kidding?" Come back, they set the bed up in like about fucking 5 seconds, and like, there you go. And I just glared at this cunt and fucking walked off. Anyway, a little bit later, I explained to Lisa, like, yeah, just sort of just to explain that little outburst with the beds, like on the first night with the medevac, fucking this dickhead was actually fucking useless, and he started giving me shit for trying to help. So I thought I'd just give him a bit of a rib for that. That's what that was all about. So yeah, on the fourth night, we got this big fat cunt and this bloody gook Sheila. And the gook Sheila was fucking useless as tits on a bull, rather argumentative. Didn't really understand what you were talking about, because you'd go up and you'd ask her a question and she'd sort of give you this fucking like abrasive kind of response.
Right, yeah.
Sort of more barking instruction, kind of fucking talking down to you like a child kind of thing. So I said one thing to her and she responded like that, and I'm like, well, I'm not fucking asking you another thing. But that was the first night I could actually get home. So I got home, there's no power or anything, and I spent a little bit with the cats, and I thought, oh, actually, this is boring. So I go back up there, and there's no coffee down here. So, like, fucking, there's coffee up there, and, you know, I can see what I'm doing. So I went back up there, and I spent 2 hours away from home. And I get back up to fucking the RSL, and instantly, half the fucking room are dogpiling me with fucking complaints about this big fat cunt. Now, this big fat cunt, like no shit, looked like Peter Griffin. I'm not kidding. I am not fucking kidding. Like he looked like fucking what Peter Griffin was drawn from, right? So much so, the first thing I fucking said to him was, "Hey, Peter," and he fucking laughed. So it's not the first time someone's done that to him.
He's probably gotten so fucking used to it.
Yeah. Anyway, fucking, I never even learnt this cunt's name. I wish I did because I want to make a formal fucking complaint about this fucking dirty little prick. So, like, yeah, instantly every cunt's fucking complaining to me about him. Like, he's telling us to do this, he won't let us do that. And he had some fucking stupid bloody thing of like, he wanted everybody in their beds and fucking asleep before he's going to turn the fucking lights off.
What?
And yeah. And I went up to him and I said, listen, we've already got a routine here. Just let shit go. And then when he's like, no, I'm controlling this. I'm blah, 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 blah. So fucking, I thought, well, fuck it. I'm just going to sit on my hands. I'm not going to do a single bloody thing because I was also running around doing a whole bunch of stuff that like people didn't think of, like filling the urn and making sure there was plenty of cold water and shit that like so people get up in the middle of the night and drink shit. There was like 42 people there at the beginning of the night, and by the time I left, there was only 8. And I'm actually fucking pretty adamant that this cunt's only job was to fucking piss people off and get people out of there so that they could justify, like, oh, there's under 10 people here and there's no reason to keep the place open. But the place had devolved into what I can only just describe as a series of running gun battles. And fucking, I'm sitting in the smoke room just trying to fucking stay out of it. There's a group of young kids that, like young people, like late teens, early 20s, that they lived together and they'd lost everything, couldn't go home, and they were stuck there. And he's given them shit, wouldn't let them fucking. He took the remote control from the TV away from them and just put on the ABC. Oh, earlier that night too, yeah, like for dinner they'd made fucking 2 different forms of curry. And I'm like, oh, what the fuck, man? Who the fuck? There's not even any Indian people here. Why the fuck are we eating bloody curry for? And they're like, oh, what's your problem with curry? And I'm like, all right, traditional Indian cuisine, right? Traditionally, Drippy Nipple gets out of his fucking mud hut and he stretches and goes, oh, lordy, oh, goody, and then fucking runs down the river. Squirts into the fucking river, splashes with his fucking right, scrapes with his fucking left, and then goes back into his mud hut, grabs his pot, goes back down the fucking river where everyone upstream's been shitting in as well, fucking gets some water out to make his fucking breakfast, dinner, whatever. That's your Indian cuisine, right? Traditional. And you notice how when you go past an Indian restaurant, right, they got the fucking, the different fucking types of curry and the Bay Maries and they're like they're never the same fucking exact color every day. You notice how when you take a shit, it's never the same fucking color every fucking day. It's like never the same exact tone. Yeah, that's why I don't like fucking curry. Anyway, bloody apart from the fact I'm not really into spices and all this kind of shit either, and like I personally find curry as being just flavorless fucking shit spice and fucking no taste to it. The only time that's ever been any different is like when I was in London. And one thing you notice in London, like you can smell all the food, and I could even smell this Indian restaurant down the street, and it was like real. It smelled like some really nice food too. Like you'd actually smell the different. Like I was watching a cooking show once, and this woman's like, "Yeah, you put the cumin in the coconut oil, milk, and you all these other things other than the fucking curry, right?" And yeah, all the subtle flavors and all this kind of shit. And I'm actually smelling all these subtle fucking different ingredients as in the curry in London. I'm like, that actually smells like I actually want to try that shit. But then I remembered like how traditional Indian cuisine's made. And I'm like, nah. So, but out here, a curry is basically just fucking diarrhea sauce on fucking braised meat. That's it. It's just nothing but fucking stupid hot spice because we don't know shit. Anyway, bloody. So that pissed me off. That was actually the thing that fucking prompted me to go home. I was going to stay around for dinner, and I was like, oh, well, if that's fucking dinner, I'm fucking off. And so they told me about the remote control, and that's when like fucking Peter Griffin, the first thing he said to me was like, "Oh, now you go." I was like, "Hey, Peter, I'm not too fucking good, man. Tonight's actually starting to become a bit of a fucking shit." All right. First off, we had for dinner drippy nipples, runny bottom 2 ways from fucking Sunday. Now you've got the fucking communist propaganda channel up, you know, and that's not fucking funny, dickhead, because these cunts are gonna fucking sell us out to fucking China because they're fucking communist fuckwits. So I'm not fucking kidding. And I go home for 2 hours. I come back, and half the fucking room is talking to me about fucking you. Anyway, bloody, like, we've already got a little bit of a
who was
routine.
complaining about who?
Everyone was complaining to me about Peter Griffin.
Oh.
Right? As he just come in and he just wanted to fucking, run things his way, regardless of anybody else's fucking attitude. And like I said, we already had a fucking routine. Everything was perfectly fine. Like I said, the 2 ladies that we had the first few nights are like absolutely fucking brilliant. Can't fucking fault them. And then when, like you said, you find out that they'd never done this before and fucking...
Is this what led to the fucking essentially what I would refer to as a coup? I know it wasn't one, but it was basically one.
Well, an insurrection, and an actual
Yeah.
insurrection, not like fucking January 6th. Anyway,
Right.
buddy, so like I'd said to him, just let things go. Fucking turn the lights off. Let the blokes who want to watch the TV watch the TV. Everyone will go to sleep, and you won't have a fucking problem. And no, he refused to listen to me. Anyway, so fuck this cunt. There's no fucking talking to this dumbass. So I went and fucking hid in the smoke room, trying to stay out of it.
Right.
And people are coming into the smoke room for refuge. And I'm just hearing this cunt going from one end of the room to the other, just arguing with everyone. Like, I'm not kidding. Like, everybody. It was like one argument, then he stopped there, and then it was across the other end of the room. Another person's arcing up at him, and then that'll stop. Then he goes back to the next corner of the room, arguing with that cunt there, and he's fucking arguing with another cunt. And there was this one bloke, one of the younger monkeys who was fucking standing in the smoke room with me. He was doing fucking nothing. I was standing there like we're just having a chin wag. There's a window in this thing that you could look out into this other room from the smoke room.
Okay.
And like he's just looking out there. I'm looking outside to the street, just sort of trying to stay the fuck out of it. And fucking some of the younger monkeys have found an app on their phones that they could remotely control the TV, and they kept changing the channels and shit.
They found the IR blaster, huh?
Yep. So they were doing that, and he's like, "I'm going to confiscate everybody's phones if they don't just stop doing that." Blah, blah. He's just like,
Love
you're
to
not
see
going
you
to fucking do that.
He'd be doing it as a fucking officer of the state, and then just nobody. God, if I were in your position, Farty, I would have taken my chances with the fucking floodwaters.
Well, I was going to go sleep in my car anyway,
Yeah.
and I was pretty much about to leave. I was just finishing my coffee and just having a cigarette, and I was literally about to fucking walk out of the joint. And I'm thinking, God, this cunt's fucking losing complete control of this fucking joint. What a useless fat fucking piece of shit this fuckwit is. And it's funny how like the biggest, most useless fucking cunts in this kind of a situation are more critical of the ones that fucking help out. And it's kind of, I'm a bit annoyed that like no one sort of briefed this dickhead on who I was and what I've been doing.
Right.
So, and there was even this Canadian bloke that was there, and he was like the most placid fucker you've ever met, right? Typical Canadian. And next thing I hear is, like the Canadian bloke's arcing up at this bloke. I'm like, fucking hell. Like, shit. What the fuck's going on here?
When a Canadian speaks up, there's a fucking problem.
Yeah. Like, I hardly ever heard a bloody peep from this guy the whole fucking time. Like, we said g'day and fucking had a little chat with him, but he just kept to himself and, if I could go and offer him food and shit like that, it's like, no, it's all good. I'm okay. Thanks, mate. Bloody.
Yeah.
And, like,
Oh,
like,
Yeah, for sure, Dester. That clusterfuck is definitely the term for it.
Mm. Yeah, anyway, fucking, this is where I reckon this cunt must have been a fucking school teacher because he was treating everyone like fucking children. Anyway, so then he comes into the fucking smoke room and starts getting up the other bloke that was there, who was doing fucking nothing. And I'm like, listen, dickhead, I fucking told you already that fucking we've already got a fucking routine. And he started fucking talking over. I was like, don't fucking interrupt me, you fat fuck. And he started fucking talking over the top. He's like, well, if you're going to fucking interrupt me and talk over the top of me, I'm just going to keep fucking talking until you shut the fuck up and piss off. And he just turned around and sort of started walking away. And I'm like, yeah, that's right, you fucking great big fucking child. And he just turns around, get out. It's like, don't you fucking kick me out of an RSL club, you fucking piece of shit civilian cunt. I've got every fucking right to be here, not you.
Right.
Well, I've got to do this. So I don't give a flying fuck, mate. And anyways, I was leaving anyways, and I sort of pulled my sleeve up a bit, and I'm like, yeah, I was going to get out of here anyway before you start putting fucking tattoos on our wrist, you fucking dirty Nazi cunt. So anyway,
Sorry
I
to
went out.
laugh at it, but that was kind of a good line, Farty.
Yeah, you know, that's why I used it. Anyway,
Oh my god.
so I
Stop,
went down.
Farty.
So I went downstairs and got my car, and like the payphones, like the rare payphones that we still have in New South Wales, they've all got free Wi-Fi.
Oh shit.
So I thought, fuck this, I'll go down the payphone, I'll park out front of that, and yep, cool, Wi-Fi works. Anyway, so I got on the Twitter and all this. And I thought I better go call the fucking police assistance line and let them know what the fuck's going on. So I ended up
Yeah.
getting onto them and was like, okay, so here's the situation. There was 42 people at the evacuation center at the beginning of the night. The crew that's there now, that's running the show, are different from the ones that were there in the previous 3 nights. And the previous 3 nights were absolutely brilliant. Can't fault them. They were amazing fucking people, and they were great to work with. I'd love to work with them again. Have zero complaints about them. But this guy, he's just come in, he's just caused nothing but dramas and troubles, and he's been basically trying to fight everybody the whole night. If you do get a call to this place, can you please be aware that it's him that's the problem, not everybody else? They're like, yeah, no worries, no worries. And so, oh yeah, as I was walking out too, the fat fuck was following me down the stairs, and I put a fucking chair in his road. He's like, don't move the chair. So, well, stop fucking following me, you fat fuck. As I'm walking out through the lobby, I took one look at the security guard and was like, you cunt, every fucking time I see you from now on, I'm going to bastardize the fucking shit out of you. And all he could say was, yeah, go fucking have a shower, you smelly cunt. I'm like, oh, well, I've been having fucking regular showers, and I don't know what the fuck his cunt was talking about. And I just snapped back with, yeah, that's called real work, you fat shit. Now go sit in your chair.
Damn.
Anyway,
Gesture says Wi-Fi payphone. You know bums are all over those.
funnily enough, not down here. All the fucking homeless cunts are down near the water, and I'm wondering how many of them got washed away. We've had 5 fatalities as far as I'm aware so far, and one was because of the cops. There's a news story that this old lady was directed to go down some place that by a cop, and she ran straight into floodwaters.
Oh shit, she drowned?
Oh yeah, but while she was sitting there being washed away by the fucking flood, she's on the phone to her family. Oh, I'm so scared. Can you come and get me a rescue? Oh my god! They basically listened to her die.
Damn, dude, that's
And
harsh.
And the cop basically watched her fucking drive into the water, and then as soon as she fucking hit that, he jumped in his car and fucked off, apparently.
Fucking prick.
Yeah. That's like, I'm just like, that's the fucking cops around here. They're fucking useless. They're more dangerous than anything.
That is, I'm not going, I'm just going to say a generalization. That's not anything. There are some good cops, but for the most part, cops everywhere are just kind of fucking useless for one reason or another. It's either because the fucking corrupt ones have weaseled their way into positions of power and, do what they say, or else your life is going to be fucking ruined. And so the good cops don't stay good cops for long. They either go with the bullshit or they end up quitting and start working for security or something.
Well, we got a bit of a drama out here with a lot of the cops get bastardized when they start getting, you know, PTSD and shit like that, and they
Yeah.
basically get forced out and no help, and a lot of them commit suicide. And I'm now of the opinion that if you're a cop in New South Wales and your fucking command structure is starting to give you shit because of something that you can't help, and you're going to go take yourself out the gene pool, if you don't take one of those cunts with you, I mean, like, you're dying anyways, it's not like you're going to get into fucking trouble for it. Fucking take the cunt out with you, or else you're an even bigger fucking coward than you thought you were, because fucking now you're going to leave us to deal with them.
Yeah.
You're not protecting the public. You're fucking leaving us to more fucking detriment.
That's not a cop, that's a pig. Yeah, I agree.
Yeah. Anyway, bloody.
Oh no, go ahead.
So yeah. So like keeping me out of an RSL club and all this kind of stuff. Like, this cunt had no fucking authority whatsoever. And the first thing the next morning, I went in to speak to Lisa. And I've walked in past fucking the dickhead security guard, and he said fucking nothing. And I get back upstairs, and Peter Griffin's still there. And the first thing that happens is, like, a couple of the people fucking came up to me and said, yeah, pretty much as soon as you left, he did exactly what you told him to do. He turned the lights off. He let the fucking, the cunts who were awake watch TV, and let the people who wanted to sleep go to sleep with the lights off. And fucking, while I'm talking to Lisa and I'm telling her what happened,
Yeah.
and I was kind of a bit miffed about what happened. It was like, well, so you know what I've been doing, right? And it was like, yeah, and then to be subjected by this fat fucker over here and the way he was carrying on last night, I'm kind of a bit fucking annoyed about that. And sort of my goodwill's about to fucking dry up. And explain to her that, like, I'm generally a fucking asshole in you know, normal circumstances, and it's kind of like, you know, what I've been doing is completely opposite to like how I normally am.
Right.
And I kind of, you know, after that, you know, I'm sort of like not really interested in being that nice guy anymore. So yeah, apart from the fact I can get into my house now, and I'm going to be mainly working out in the field down in my street, so, you know, you may as well take me off the books. And then fucking Peter Griffin comes up, and he just stood there like a stale bottle of piss, and I went, yeah, and I see you did exactly what I fucking told you to do after I left. He goes, oh, but I have to. I don't give a fuck about your bullshit excuse, son. The fact that you fucking did exactly what I said dictates that I was fucking right, and you should have just fucking listened. Okay?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, shut the fuck up and leave me alone. Meanwhile, the gook shiller's sitting there saying absolutely bloody nothing. Anyway, so yeah, I did end up going back there a few more times for just for showers and stuff like that. And yeah, the next night, I got there before Peter Griffin had showed up, and Lisa was there, and like they were having a roast dinner, for like a roast for dinner. And I'm like, I'd already gotten food.
Good.
Yeah, I know. I already got the food, and I had half a pizza sitting at home, and like, she was adamant for me to stay, and she's like, "I'm just, you know, sure you don't want to stay for dinner? Like, you know, we've got a roast." And I'm like, oh no, it's all right. And then someone walked past with a plate, and like, oh, that does fucking smell good. Oh, they're like, nah, can't waste the pizza. Nah, it's all good, thanks anyway. But she was really appreciative though, and like, you know, really wanted me to hang around. And yeah, pretty much fucking after that, it was mainly I spent the next morning fucking just clearing mud out of off me back steps and around the paths, you know, like the sort of veranda out the front. So I got a walkway that goes across the front of my house, around the side, and then around the back, and then there's like back steps. So I just cleared away so I can get to and from the car without walking through 3 inches of fucking mud. And pretty much now I'm just waiting for the army to show up and the rural fire service to come back and pretty much hose everything out. And the good part about where I'm at is, well, like my place was like I was still 3 or 4 feet below the fucking, like my living space was 3 or 4 feet below the water line, above the water line, sorry. And I give a lot of shit to the bloke who built this house with the build quality and whatnot. but he actually did have a lot of forethought in building this place. Like, he built it tall enough to now sort of like fucking withstand an even worse flood than the one that he built the house to withstand. And even the electrics and stuff like that, like downstairs can be isolated. So I'm one of the few people in the street that have got power to the house back again. Everybody else, because they've got to go and get electricians to go and check to see that their circuits are safe and all this kind of shit. I can just isolate the bad stuff and not really worry about it. And that's downstairs has been isolated since the last flood anyway, so it doesn't matter. And yeah, sort of just mainly checking on everybody else. The local football team's been really fucking good. There's a local construction company that's brought all their gear down, and they're helping clear mud out of the streets and out of everyone's driveways. So we're not running mud everywhere and all this kind of stuff.
Right.
There's a couple of elderly people in the street there that fucking needed a bit of a hand. The local football team came down. It's not like the professionals; they're like the sort of little league team,
like the high school team or some shit.
Yeah, like late teens, early 20s, that kind of stuff. And they went and helped them out.
Holy shit, that's awesome.
Yeah, and effectively, I was just running around, basically, communicating stuff, and I went up to the bite, and then the water had subsided to the bridge, like below the bridge. Just before it had subsided, you could see cavitation of where the bridge was. Ooh. And it ended like 3/4 or a quarter of the way across the fucking river. And I'm like, fuck, that's gone. Now, here's Constable fucking Abbott. Constable fucking Abbott really shouldn't brag about how many times he's been around the block, because I first met this cunt fucking in the first flood, and he'd been in the cops for 15 years. So now he's been in the cops for 21 years, which means that he joined the cops in that'd be 2004. Yeah.
I don't know. I'm not doing the math.
Neither am I. But I started in the RFS in '97.
Yeah.
So yeah,
and you got out in the early 2000s, right?
Yeah. So I basically got out when he fucking joined the cops, around about the same time. So yeah, I've been around the block a few more times than him. And in the first flood, I was perfectly fine. Like when I woke up, the water had already hit the high water mark, and it was receding when they tried to get me out, and they made me jump a couple of meters down into a fucking boat, which was fucking dangerous. Right. But like I mentioned, where I was a babbling brook. Me and my neighbour Kim were just watching a bin float past us, and it was literally like half a knot. That's how fast it was going. Like just tootling past us, and it did a little bit of a U-turn, and it started heading back out, and that was where I was sort of like, okay, so the current's now heading out to sea and all this kind of stuff. And like the problem with the cops, right, is that they think the badge makes them fucking geniuses and they know everything, but they don't know shit. And we actually did have a cop fucking come in and say like, oh, don't go down to the end of the floodplain to all these houses, because like the Bureau of Meteorology says there's another 200 mils coming and all this kind of stuff. Well, we've already lost fucking like 50 feet of water. And the river was flowing that fucking fast that 200 mils just streamed past us without even fucking batting an eyelid. And while this cop was making that announcement, I'm going, that's bullshit. That's not going to happen. The river's moving too fast. And there's a bloke standing next to me and going, oh, I actually like what you're saying better than the copper does. And I said, yeah, well, look, yeah, it's already gone down this far. 200 mils is not going to be fucking doing anything to us. It's going to come up maybe a couple of millimeters, and where it is now is really not going to affect any cunt. It's just going to keep going down from here. And this bloke goes, oh, I'd rather listen to you than this guy. You seem to know more about what you're talking about. And well, I was right. The 200 mils just like we didn't even fucking notice it.
Wow. Jester says we have that problem here too. Yeah, we got that problem all over the States.
Yeah, so around the corner back in the first one, though, there was two people hanging from a telegraph pole in no shit Whitewater Rapids who really did need a rescue more than I did.
Hmm.
And I'd already declined a rescue, and the fucking SES went back to got this fucking constable Abbott, Dave, and he's come back, and the first thing out of this dickhead's mouth was, "Oh, you're putting children in danger." And I'm like, "What the fuck? How the fuck am I? I'm fucking stuck here. I'm not the one doing the rescue. You should learn triage, dickhead." Anyway, so he had a fucking sook at me because, "Oh, you know, how can we go and rescue people when you're fucking in the road?" It's like, I'm not in the fucking road. If there's people who need more of a rescue than I do, go fucking get them first. "Oh, we can't. We've got to get you out first." Stupid motherfucker. So the next time he fucking does that, I'm just going to throw something heavy in the boat and make him capsize.
Oh my god.
Um, Let them fucking
Wow.
swim in shit. Fuck them. If they're going to be that fucking stupid and carry on like that, well then fuck them. They can learn to swim.
Yeah, no,
Um,
yeah, you have a point.
yeah, and like especially like I said, triage. Like there were people who are worse off than I am. Go get them. Anyway, so dickhead McFuckwit, Abbott, fucking a couple of nights later on the first one, tried bullshitting me about fucking, "Oh, the water levels rise so far and your house is completely under and all this." And I'm like, "Really? Okay." So I went off and I asked the people who are up the other end of the street, who are far lower than I was, and I said, "So you guys can get into your place, right?" And they go, "Yeah, we can get into the bottom floor." And I'm like, "Yeah, thought so." Which meant that I was high and dry at that point,
Oh
like
yeah.
completely.
Well, maybe not dry, but definitely high.
So when I found out about the bridge, the Bight, knowing the people around here, some asshole wouldn't notice it and would try and ford that and would just go straight into the fucking river because there's no bridge there.
Yeah.
It completely fucking washed away. So went around the SES and I said, I'd taken a bit of footage of it and I went and showed them and they said, "Oh yeah, can you go tell the coppers he's around the back there somewhere?" And I walk out and they're like, "Oh, he's Abbott." And I said, "Have you seen the bridge yet?" He's like, "Oh." So I showed him and he goes, "Oh yeah, yeah. Why don't you just go and mind your end of the fucking road down to your place, and like, yeah, we'll handle this." And sort of like, see where I come from. Like, you pass on information regardless of whether they might know it or not.
Right.
Like, say for instance, you're pulling up to a job, you tell the driver where the power lines are because he might not be fucking. He might be looking at a place to park, or he might be trying to dodge fucking bystanders and shit.
Yeah.
You tell the officer on the truck there's insituated gas cylinders on the side of the house, because he might be fucking looking at something else. He might be trying to identify where the fuse box is, or he might be trying to find the hydrant or something like that. Other blokes would be looking for the hydrants and shit, and they'll be relaying that information. You give that information, whether it's fucking a dumb thing to say or not, because you're you're fucking relating that pertinent information. And all
Yeah.
I wanted to hear from this dumb cunt was, "Yep, thanks for that. I'll get on it." That's all I wanted to fucking hear from this dumb cunt. Not fucking, "Oh, don't get in the road and stop fucking trying to fucking get in the
Yeah.
stupid fucking asshole." "Oh, I've been around the block a few times. Oh, I know how to do this." And I kind of got left with the impression that he didn't want me to tell him because he was going to be busy anyways, and it was going to be a little while before he could actually do anything about it, which I couldn't give a fuck about. He knows about it now, and all I cared about was that fucking the right people know, and it was going to be sorted out eventually. Not fucking. I couldn't give two shits about his concern about if he knew about it early enough, and between now and when he did do something about it, some cunt fucking nosed into the river and got washed away, because then he'd be worried that fucking, "Oh, well, you knew about this since then and you didn't do anything about it, blah, blah, blah." Well, I understand he's fucking busy, but it's
Right.
better he fucking knows about it now, unless, before, so, like, cunts up the top of the bike fucking watch some cunt drive in and then have to fucking alert him to it, you know? Fucking stupid bastard.
Some people are
Anyway,
just assholes, Freddie.
yeah, no, and then when he said, "Oh, this is my first time around the block," I'm sitting here thinking, yeah, I wouldn't say that if I were you, son. I know your fucking performance, and it's not something to fucking brag about. So, yeah, getting criticised by the most useless cunts in the joint for actually fucking being of effective help is like a bit disheartening.
For being a leader? Huh.
Yeah, and when people fucking look to me for leadership, when there's plenty of the actual authority running around, it's sort of kind of like, well, that's not my fucking fault. You cunts couldn't organise a brothel.
Yeah.
See, that was something back in when I was in First Fleet. Like, I ended up becoming the OH&S representative for Iplex Pipelines because people just gravitated towards me for leadership. And like the contract drivers used to leave at like 4, 5, 6 in the morning when all the other drivers used to get in at 6 o'clock. And because I was an insomniac and I, I'm not a fucking morning person, and like I really needed to have me coffee and read me paper before I actually started work. So I get into work early. And the
Yeah.
contractors would be coming up to me with their OH&S problems. And at first, I'm kind of like, well, fuck, you do know Peter Baines, the OH&S rat. They go, yeah, but like he doesn't show up until like 6:05, and like we're already gone by then. So can you relate it to him? Oh, well, all right. And then it kind of ended up being, say, Pete, look, well, fucking, you're not here all the time, and I'm here when you're not. Z had a bit of a problem with his like ex-wife, where fucking if he don't like a second of fucking overtime, her solicitors would fucking take that as fucking, oh well, that's his new work conditions, and they'd fucking basically judge his fucking child support
Right.
on
Yeah.
that one fucking hour for 6 fucking months. So he'd end up having to actually lose money for like a full 6 months before they'd realise, oh, that was just a one-off anomaly. So he'd purposefully start 5 minutes late and purposefully leave 5 minutes early. So yeah, he
Wow.
was never around. I was doing 14-hour days. So I was there all the time pretty much. And that's where people like, when the cunts aren't around, fucking people just seem to fucking gravitate towards me for some reason. And yeah, so mainly that was all an autopilot, and I'd fucking been running on bloody 2 hours sleep a night for the last week or so. And last couple of days I've actually been getting decent night's sleep. And already mentioned about fucking last night, had a bit of a fucking PTSD freak out fucking thing. I was being attacked by a fucking eagle and end up accidentally throwing a little girl across the room.
Yeah, that caps off this saga wonderfully, doesn't it?
Yeah, so I just got them to come out of their little hidey holes because they've been freaked out since. And just finally got little girl up to have a big cuddle snooze with me, and she'd been lying on me all night, and fucking 1 o'clock this morning, fucking had that little freak out and threw her across the room. Now she's all the way up the other end of the room, curled up. I went up to her and gave her some cuddles, and she started purring and all this kind of stuff. And then she sort of forgave me. She didn't run away, but sort of still, I went fucked up all my good work.
Yeah.
So yeah, that was that. I'm buggered and I got a cold from it because I've been running around in the fucking rain all week.
Yeah. That was it was a great story time party. Thank you.
Mm. Holy shit, that took an hour and a half.
Yeah, over an hour and a half.
That's also the shit that I can remember too. There was a lot more that bloody happened that I just,
That you just turned your brain off to, huh?
Yeah, there's a few more casualties that were sort of bit behind, but fucking just cleaning wounds and just like any of the things that I could do myself without having to get everybody else involved because they were busy anyways.
Yeah.
That's kind of like where I said before, like, fucking if I'm ever at an incident or something like that and some cunt fucking says, hey, what about this guy? Your instant response is to be him. Don't worry about him. Because I'm fixing all the little shit that you guys have got you're too busy to fucking deal with, and just making everyone's life easier.
Or at least trying to.
Oh no, I successfully do it. There's no trying involved.
No,
There's
I know. Sometimes you can't though. Is the point that I'm trying to make. Sometimes you can't.
Oh no, this
Help.
is where a lot of people don't understand shit, because they think that fucking I'll go and take on shit. No. If I'm fucking responsible as all hell. Like if it is fucking warranted to get other people involved, well then absolutely I'll palm it off to the correct things. I don't go and fucking take on fucking shit that's well beyond my capabilities. And I'm actually one of these people that do know exactly what fucking resources that need to be brought in to deal with stuff that I can't deal with myself. So yeah, I can at least have a look at it and determine whether, like, yep, I can do that, or yes, it can be done, or no, that's too dangerous, or we'll need to go and get other people involved, like with Dallas, right? Fucking, getting down there, it's organised, right, well, this is a situation, it could very well be a recovery, but if not, he could be very much injured, so we'll need to get this resource involved, and, it's going to be a water rescue, and I briefed them on the entire situation so they knew what they were getting into before they actually started doing it, so there's no blindside into it.
Yeah.
Had to have my own boat. I could have probably done it myself because it wasn't Whitewater Rapids at that point. But since the SES were there and they had the fucking boat, and we could get the medics down there, so if indeed he needed some, more proper medical assistance, like we got that on site. But all the other stuff, the little bits, you don't need to get like a crew of 7 guys and a full fire truck down to fucking deal with a cut or a scratch or something like that.
Yeah.
And like a lot of people just assume that that I will take on a lot more, and then I will end up needing the rescue, or I'll end up needing the help. And it's like, no, I'm not that fucking dumb.
It's not that you're not that dumb. It's maybe they don't want to put the effort in.
Yeah. No shit, it took an hour to doing disaster response with none of the fucking pay. Well, that's the funny part about it, right? Back when I was wearing a uniform, I wasn't being paid for it either. I've never been paid for any of this, like the St. John's, the RFS. The only time I was like, the Army, but didn't ever do any disaster relief with the Army, though.
Yeah. So, what do you think, Farty? Do you want to cap it here, or do you want to get into the video?
Yeah, let's watch some dude shoot himself in the guts.
Okay, because I don't know how long your phone's gonna last, or what. I'm assuming it's your phone.
Oh no, it's my issue today isn't the phone. It's we're still going through the cleanup. The RFS is supposed to be coming back sometime in the near future. They don't know when to wash out the rest of the house. Like, I got off fucking lightly. Everything downstairs could be fucking. It doesn't matter. It already went through a flood, and effectively, it's just a case of rinse until it runs clear.
Gotcha.
Hit it with a fire hose. It was funny too because you say a few things. Like the first time around when they come to clean out the house, I went up to the Army and it's sort of like, I'm going to need at least a section. They end up giving me a whole platoon, like a section of 10. The section's 10 guys, the platoon's 30. There's 3 sections.
Nice.
And I said to the corporal, it's like, hey, corporal, I'm going to need at least a section for mine. You can do me last and you get everybody else out of the road. It's not heavy shit. It's just all fucking finicky and shit. There's like just a lot of it and it's awkward. You're like, all right.
Yeah.
So you're in the Army, were you? Fucking in another life. It was the other day when the RFS come around, and basically I just gave him the assessment of like all my problems can be solved at the end of a 38 line.
God damn.
And he gave me this funny look like, Shane Park out at Blacktown. Oh, okay, right.
All right, let's watch this.
Rightio.
This is going to be great. It is playing. This is a VHS rip, so it's going to take a while for it to get to where it's going. See? It's playing. Wait. Oh, there's no sound. Shit. Why is there no sound?
Here's mine.
I can't hear shit.
Is the real cause of crime
There it is. Okay.
poverty or form of insanity? Think about this now. No economically comfortable person would want to steal.
All those 80s hairdos.
Nor would a person in the right mind want to break a law. Wouldn't it be better if we do away with the jails and use this money to cure the criminals through psychotherapy, forms of group therapy, put the money in job training programs rather than through incarceration and punishment? Think about that. Well, young man, this is your third felony conviction in the last 3 years.
I'm sorry.
I'm
I'm
sorry
going
I
to be
broke
forced
the
to give you a
law.
much longer suspended sentence this time.
I'm giving you a suspended sentence. What the fuck?
Well, gentlemen, this inmate hasn't committed any armed robberies, rapes, or murders in the last 5 years.
Yeah, that's
Good to be
because we've
George
had his
Floyd.
rotten ass locked up for the last 5 years.
Now, come on. Only by showing trust, understanding, and forgiveness can we expect him to show trust, understanding, forgiveness. Isn't that right, Dan?
Well, I don't know about that, but the prison is overcrowded, and we've got 10 new inmates coming in tomorrow.
We're gonna let him go because the prisons are overcrowded.
Punishing criminals is not the answer. It's the cheap Saturday night specials that cause all the crime.
Because the gun would do that by itself.
Ban these guns, and we'll stop all crime.
Oh, yeah, I
Because criminals follow the law.
can't really hear you, Party. We'll do that. I might be able to hear you now. What'd you say, Party?
Because criminals follow the law.
Oh, yeah, because they definitely obey the law. Written in the streets of America. Doesn't that tug at your
You will
heartstrings?
never have to face as law enforcement officer is a belt
I missed by
machine
one
gun.
of those.
If you ever should have to run into a big time terrorist, drug smuggler, whatever, with one of these, there's not too much you can do except kill them, and you got to do it as fast as you can. These weapons have many strong points and only a few weak points. The weak points is they're not capable of really accurate fire, such like a scoped rifle. The other, only other weak point is, and you pick this up, you want to talk like, hey, yo, Adrian, hey. Anyway, let's crank off
One
a little
movie,
M60
dickhead.
here.
Holy shit.
Nah, he had something in the car.
No, I know, but like half of the rounds aren't even hitting the car.
No.
Other than artillery support or an airstrike,
pause
the
it for a
best
sec.
way to attack a machine gun is with a scoped rifle.
Yeah, that was kind of the point of the 60. It was inherently
Suppressing
inaccurate.
fire, yeah.
Yeah, for suppressing fire. But there was also a theory and a doctrine that, like the Russian meat wave attack, kind of thing. You didn't really want to put the same round down the same hole. And if you did a burst, it was going to inherently spread, so you'd hit more than one person, like just inherently. Like you can actually fucking like accurately fire on targets and like get a bunch of
Right.
rounds on the same thing. But like if you had a wall of cunts hanging coming towards you, it'd just be like a bit more sort of efficient to not have it hit the same point. That was the problem with the Bren gun. The Bren gun, you could actually dial that to a point where it'd counteract its own recoil. So as it came, like when it came back, as the bolt came forward and was chambered a new round and was ready to fire, it had literally put the barrel back on its own zero.
Oh shit.
And in some cases, you could put 30 rounds through the same hole if you dial it in properly. And that's where they found that was a bit of a waste of ammunition in those kinds of circumstances. But now we're sort of like looking at with insurgency warfare and stuff where you do want to put suppressive fire, or you actually do want to hit somebody out of distance, because machine guns actually do have a little bit more range than rifles do. Especially when you're talking the difference between a 7.62 and a 5.56. Bigger bullet, flatter trajectory, a bit more range, and a bit more power down range. You do want to sort of take out your single insurgent, more efficiently, with a mounted machine gun than with a rifle. That point you're going NBC warfare.
Oh. You ready to keep going?
Yep.
Heck, I bet some of you can even hit things on purpose.
Oh, actually, pause it again.
If you think that's bad,
Yeah, that one that they had there, the G3, is
Yeah.
the German equivalent to the SLR, and both have the capability of going full auto. But the difference between a G3 and an SLR is that an SLR is fun to shoot, whereas even asking Ian McCullum, and full auto fire a G3 is basically just like you pull the trigger and the world just blurs.
Had meet his bigger brother,
50 cal.
the Browning 50 caliber.
Oh god, look at the size of
let's
those
see what we got here.
shells.
Yeah.
Oh, he's fucking that car up now.
He's got all tracer
Again, the
on
best
that
way
one.
to
Oh yeah.
Supposed to have one in 5.
He's just shooting the. Oh my god. He's just shooting the shit out of Grandma's fucking sedan.
Oh yeah. Well, that's the old doctrine now. Like tactical nuclear weapons
Skip
aren't
Bain
really a
was the
thing
first Magnum
anymore. That
save.
it's like
He-
they're gonna they've solved that with more cluster munitions as well as like the laser guided weapons and small diameter bombs. You can actually hit things more
Yeah.
accurately instead of just nuking an entire area.
Yeah. Man, I can't get enough of that.
Skip Bain was the first Magnum save. He would not be the last.
Look out! He's got my gun!
Skip, you're the first known officer to be shot with a .357 Magnum. What did it feel like when you were hit?
Fucking hurt.
It was like somebody poking me real hard in the chest. I was braced for it, and it didn't knock me down or anything. It
was the adrenaline.
And then I fired a shot at where I thought he was, where he'd been standing when he shot me, and he had already hidden behind a car. And I fired 2 more, but I was able to return the fire, and I was never disabled. I was never knocked down. I was never
Damn.
in any pain.
The
Really.
shooting actually took place when, at night?
It took place about 3 o'clock in the morning.
3 o'clock in the morning.
Right.
How come you weren't in bed?
Well, I was working burglary patrol.
Lucky.
Okay. You work on
Didn't
burglary
get in
patrol.
there.
How come they weren't in bed?
They were the burglars.
Okay. Okay, the first bullet is the traditional
the Galagos.
long rifle, fired from a rifle at extremely close range. Second, I'm going to go to the, well, let's try the 38 Special.
38. Oh my god.
That's a spicy 38.
Oh yeah.
I can see the 22 long rifle actually penetrated more than the 38 Special.
Mhm.
22 went through 2 boards, but not 3.
Damn.
The 38
Yeah.
Special's only gone through 1.
And that's the
which
soft
makes a
armor,
bigger
right?
hole. Now we'll move
That's-
on up to the
Or is that just the
357
wood?
Magnum.
That's just through wood and cardboard.
Okay.
The cardboard's just there as a litmus test.
Yeah. It'll show you how many plates you go through.
Mm.
Damn.
More impact there.
Yeah, the
357
ballistics, like
Magnum has gone through
22's got a
2,
smaller profile, so as it
but not
sort
through
of
the 3rd.
pokes even further.
Let's try the
Uh,
9mm full metal jacket.
Larger caliber
The
bullets,
bullets is
because
not
there's
very
more
good for,
surface
knocking
area,
people
you
down.
actually
Yeah.
get slowed down a lot quicker.
But not very good for
Yeah, it's like how,
pretty good in penetration.
How they made needles smaller and thinner so they don't hurt as much.
Yeah, difference between like a sharp blade and a dull
That
blade.
just bounced off
So we
the
have 2
wood.
penetrated.
No, that was the
3.
casing.
Oh, that was the casing.
And
Okay. Yeah, I was half
just
paying attention.
barely, it's just sticking out the back of the 4th. It did not quite penetrate the 4th board. It's a 2-inch
Can
thick
we
pine board.
see it? Show me, damn it.
Now I'm going to try a new one, the 10mm.
I don't know. Nice.
Which does have some considerable stopping power, if there is such a thing. It's not quite as good a penetration, I don't think.
So this is like the theory with the 6.5
And
the 5.56 and the
The
7.62.
10mm
10
has
millimeter
penetrated 2
or 40
boards,
caliber
and
is
just barely
the amount is
sticking out
the
back
sort
of
of
the
the
3rd.
midway between a 9 mil and a 45
Quite
caliber.
similar to the 9. In
Uh-huh.
fact, here the bullet is.
So you got the
with
speed
me a
of a
second.
9
Here it is right
mil,
here.
but the projectile
Here's a 10
size of near a
Holy
45.
To 6 inches of pine. What we've got here is something
And it's the same kind of thing.
you
It's
will
the 9
probably
mils
never
small.
see. As
It's
one writer put it,
it's not the
this
22,
gun will never be
but
issued to policemen unless Clint Eastwood is chief of police and
typically didn't have much
Charles
power
Bronson's
behind
the
them.
mayor.
Yeah.
So
Now with
45
ballistics
Winchester
and stuff
Magnum
like that, that's
Grizzly
what
Mark
changed.
1. It's been
Oh.
especially Magnum ported for me. It's my personal favorite go anywhere, do anywhere, anything gun. It shoots a 230 grain full metal jacket bullet, 45 caliber of course, at 1,400 feet a second.
Yeah, big
Muzzle.
slow bullets like the 45.
45
This against these.
Isn't 45 typically used, especially from what I can see there? Isn't that typically used in rifles?
No.
Or am I thinking of different?
You're thinking of like 30 carbine.
Yeah.
Where like 45 was the same round, but they used in the Thompson submachine gun. But there's like with ballistics, it's fucking fascinating. So in the early 80s, there was an FBI shootout where most of the FBI agents were using 9mm semi-automatic pistols, and the 9mm back in the day was a fairly anemic round because it was still the old parabellum round from like the fucking early 1900s. Hadn't really changed very much in almost 100 years.
Right.
And these guys, even though they were like high off their asses on fucking PCP and all this kind of shit, so they're getting shot several times before they went down. They were shooting back with, I believe, Ruger Mini 14s, which are chambered in 5.56, and I think 4 FBI agents were killed. And then, like the perps were just walking around, fucking. They walked around this one guy's car and just fucking plugged him fucking point blank during this gunfight. And that was where the FBI went to 40 cal. 4570 is another one that is typically a rifle round that you can use in this big pistol round. 4570 in a pistol capacity was originally a horse killer, and the cavalry used to use it just in case like they had to put their horse down. But fucking so they went to 40 cal or 10mm.
Okay.
And that gave you the speed of the 9mm, but the projectile size of a near 45 caliber round. And the 45 is actually a subsonic round pretty much inherently, but the projectile is a large max, and it's a difference from shooting something that's really, really fast and using the kinetic energy you're using velocity to take out the target, whereas the 45 is just slow and kinetic energy. It's the difference between throwing a pebble at really high speed and just lobbing a fucking big rock and crushing some cunt. So it's like kinetic energy in the 45 does the damage, whereas the velocity in a 9mm. And again, with the 22, it's a big misnomer with the 22s because they think it's a tiny little projectile and it doesn't do much damage. But no. It's it imparts all the energy into you because it's inherent fucking pissiness.
Yeah.
And then they found that like the 10mm made the gun too big for a lot of people to comfortably hold and shoot appropriately and all this kind of stuff. And then there's been a lot of research and development done in ammunition now. So you've got things like 9mm P plus P and plus P plus, which is like sort of the equivalence of Magnum rounds. There's difference in the like types of powder that they use and difference in velocities and projectile weights and compositions and things of that nature, which make 9mm a much more competitive round in regards to, say, something like a 10mm. So now they can go back to a smaller firearm with, in some cases, a higher capacity than a 10mm in a 45, because a 45 typically usually has a 7-round magazine. Your 10mm is usually like, say, like a 12 to 14, maybe even 15 rounds, unless you stick one in the pipe. And that's how we get plus P38 Super. Because the 38 round, that used to be the go-to round for cops, and that was a fucking anemic round too. And then they had the 38 Special, which was the only fucking upgrade to a 38 that you could get. Now, 38 and the 357 round, effectively the same diameter, but the 38 and the 38 Special are shorter than the 357 round, and the 357 is interchangeable down, whereas the 38 isn't interchangeable. No, it's interchangeable. The 38's interchangeable up, so you can fire a 38 and a 38 Special out of a 357, but you can't fire a 357 out of a 38 because the round's slightly longer, and it's designed that way because you'll blow up the gun if you tried to use a 357 and a 38.
Is it because it's jammed in the chamber?
No, it's a lot more powerful round. and the 38s aren't designed to take that the bigger pressures and stuff like that. So yeah, they with all the research and stuff like that, they find that like so a 9mm is still more effective because you do get the penetration power because of the smaller diameter of the round. And with the new powders and stuff, you get the same performance as like a 10mm, which was supposed to be the lovely amalgamation of 9mm and the 45 and the little halfway between. And I even was saying this fucking back in the 90s when with the 5.56, it's the same with 300 blackout with 5.56. Yeah, you can fit a 300 blackout in the 5.56 magazine, and if you got the rifle chamber right, it'll have you can just change the upper on an M16 or 300 blackout out of the same M16 line. The fucking I don't know what he was going on. Yeah, I was saying that fucking 5.56 is fucking pathetic, and I was even getting stories from guys back in Vietnam where they were mag dumping fucking Viet Cong and fucking the country still moving with the old can't remember now. We got the SS-109 round when I was in, and we love the 7.62, but 7.62 is actually quite an unwieldy round. It's a full power fucking big bore rifle round, and mainly the reason why, part of the reason why our SLRs are only semi-automatic is because the M14, the G3, and the SLR on full auto basically become anti-aircraft guns after the third round. But they've got a lot of fucking recoil on them. So yeah, accuracy under automatic fire is fucking almost 100%. And better off that you put one 7.62 round on target at a time than it is to just burst a bunch of rounds at them. We did have the L1A2, which was an automatic version with a bipod and a heavier barrel. The SAS used to cut the barrels down to the front of the gas block and put a foregrip on it. They called it the push pitch. The push pitch. And it was kind of like a similar instance to the Stoner, the fucking was it Stoner 63, where like the doctrine was, and this is a funny thing with that movie Predator, where fucking Jesse Ventura gets killed and they just fucking unload into the bush.
Yeah.
And everyone's like, oh, that's a waste of ammo. No. That was actually the fucking doctrine for mobs like Mac v Sog. They carried that much fucking ammunition and shit on them and all this kind of stuff. And the thing was, like, if they got fired on, they'd just fucking open up and just wipe everything out. They just fucking unleash like that. And that was the kind of thing, like the whole reason for the bush pitch. Now you got things like the F89 Minimo, which you call it the M2. That's not the M240 Bravo. It's fucking the SAW. Can't remember what you guys call it, but anyway, squad automatic weapon. You can have 200 rounds, 5.56 sitting off a little machine gun that's not as big as wheelie as a fucking M60 or a Mag 58 or something like that. But yeah, we were saying that fucking 5.56 is pathetic. 7.62 is a bit unwieldy. It'd be great if you could have something like right in the middle, like about a 6.5. And I was even throwing around like 6.5 back in the 90s. And it looks like now we're going down that way.
He said, "Yeah, I'd mow down the entire forest."
Yeah,
said Dexter.
Trees start talking, just remove the trees. They weren't talking for long.
Sorry, Treebeard, you're going down.
M249, that's the one. That's the squad automatic weapon, or what we call the F89 Minimi.
Oh my god.
Or if you're British, mini.
Yeah, let's do a little bit more of this video. I'm actually starting to get kind of tired, so I want to get through as much as we can. We are gonna have to do a part 2 to this video, I think.
Yeah.
10 inches of pine, and a gallon jug of milk behind it.
Blow the can of milk. Show us the jug of milk. There it goes. Oh, that's beautiful.
Now, this is Second Chance Super Featherweight 2, introduced brand new here in the fall of 1988. Incredibly thin,
This video was put out in '88, dude.
incredibly light.
Holy
can
shit!
sleep
Look at
in
how
this thing.
flexible it is.
Yeah, it's just sheets of
You'll
Kevlar.
stop the 44 Magnum
Oh,
here.
is it? Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah.
Sticking it to ballistics, Clay.
Yeah, you're gonna learn about guns against your will.
Damn, dude.
Oops. As you can see, the impact would be severe. But again, that's same as getting punched real hard. It would be severe. If you're a very thin person, you should have a thicker vest than this. But the bullet is in there, about halfway in.
Damn.
That's a bullet which
That's
I,
leaving a
personally killed a
bruise
beaver,
for at least a couple
1,200-pound
weeks.
animal with
Oh, yeah.
a few months ago.
Like, it still fucking
In one
hurt.
shot.
Oh yeah.
It's
And
not gonna
that
kill
is
you.
probably about 5 to 10 times the power of what
Unless
the
it,
average
you
American
know,
policeman is being killed with
your
today.
lung
And
decides
now
to
for a little
erupt.
comedy relief. We're going to present a lighthearted look at the American law enforcement officer as
It'll break
seen
a
by
rib.
8 various groups.
What's that?
It'll break a rib.
Oh yeah. Unless you pop a lung with it, like, yeah.
At least one of these imaginary scenes is certain to offend somebody. But please don't be offended. I really think that a sense of humor is necessary to maintain your sanity in this deadly serious business of ours. What is comedy? Webster's dictionary defines comedy as that form of entertainment which is used to
Well, you want to go to the coffee shop and get some donuts?
No, let's get them kids. They're going a mile over the speed limit.
All right.
A mile? Jeez, he's fucking good if he can determine a mile over the speed limit.
Geez, Corbin, you know, with your job and your homework and your football practice all the time, I never get to see you anymore.
Well, I gotta get that scholarship to U of M like you did. Police are behind us.
I wonder what they could want.
Step on out of the car.
Step out, please.
There, sir. Put your hands on the hood. Put your hands on the hood over here.
What did you do?
God, at least for a fucking mile over the speed limit?
Right?
I guess they're not black, so they haven't been shot yet.
Just for 1 mile over the speed limit?
That's all it takes. One time.
I mean, it's technically true. What the fuck? Some random dude in a gas mask and a fuck. Okay. Nerve gas depot.
Oh, for fuck off.
Whole fucking
Oh,
depot for nerve gas.
Yeah. Oh, fuck off.
Oh, this is hilarious.
Yes, let's put a big fucking sign on the top secret base saying, top secret base! We've got a silence there. How come these cunts can't hear it? Oh, yeah, how come these cunts can't hear it? Sorry.
They're perfectly. Oh my god.
Look, yeah, we don't notice the bloody cop car with its lights going across the road from the very secret fucking nerve gas depot that's fully fucking signed.
No. So okay. So this is okay. So everything that's happening right now is from the perspective and from the minds of these teenagers that they pulled that are getting pulled over. These teenagers think that, you know, they're not doing anything wrong and that they were only a mile over, and that the cops are making a big deal about being a mile over, and then there's like literal terrorism going on behind the cop. And the kid's like, what about them?
However, being true to fucking Taree bloody coppers, that would be a fucking thing. There'd be like you'd pulled over, and there would be fucking like the secret nerve gas fucking depot being raided by fucking terrorists. And you'd be like, hey, but what about these cunts over? Don't you fucking worry about them. You worry about your bloody self. It's like, okay, fuckwit.
Okay, I understand what's happening now. So yeah, okay.
What about that? Don't worry about that. That's the feds' problem over there.
That's the feds' problem.
Oh, fuck off.
Look at the purple smoke.
Oh, that's the EPA's problem. Don't worry about it.
That's the EPA's problem.
Nerve gas.
It's a nerve gas. Well, that's somebody else's problem.
Also, the kids are in his back seat now. Or the kid is in his back seat.
Come on.
Oh! Oh! Ow! This is why you handcuff. And I suppose this is, you know, late 80s, right? Because he said the year was 88 when they made this video, right? So this is probably before they're all like, well, you know, maybe having child locks on the in our back doors would. Oh my God, Ravage. Okay, there you go. Enjoy. Maybe having child locks on our back door is a good on the rear doors is a good idea. And maybe putting cuffs on people is a good idea.
Steve, on the day you went to work, the day of the incident, did you feel anything unusual was going to happen?
No, I was due for a week off.
Were you wearing a vest on the day you went to work?
Yes.
What type of vest?
It was the old second chance vest. He got out of the car, he butted me in the side of the head. With the butt, it kind of knocked me off balance a little bit. And as I grabbed him, he spun around, and of course, that's when I seen a weapon.
Where'd the weapon come from?
I recognized it as my own.
Did you ever feel him take it from the holster you were wearing?
Never.
And what type of weapon were you carrying that day?
It was a .357 Smith & Wesson.
And what was it loaded with?
357's 110 grain.
What did he do when he pulled the weapon from your holster?
Shoot himself.
I don't know. I didn't know he had the weapon. It just came out.
Was that party?
He shit himself. What do you do when you pull the weapon? Shit himself. This is why you have partners.
Yeah.
But Desta, have you seen that bit of footage where that fucking two cops are clearing a house recently, and the Sheila fucking saw a uniformed police officer with a gun in a mirror and instantly fucking mag dumped it? Because that just recently happened.
I think I saw something similar happen.
And she's like, "Oh, it's all right, didn't hit anything." It's like, "Yeah, but what about the overpen? What is it? Is some fucking poor kid in the next house fucking breathing through his fucking face?"
Breathing through his cheek, right? We'll go a little bit longer, but I am starting to get really, really tired. So we'll go up to about the 7:30 mark, and then we'll call it a night, and then maybe not tomorrow, maybe Saturday or something. Or Friday night my time, early Saturday morning your time. We'll do the rest of this, and then we'll continue on and do something wholly different. Saturday morning my time, Sunday night your time.
Yep.
I'm up from nowhere, and I recognized as my weapon.
What was the next thing that happened?
He stuck it against my chest and fired.
Did you feel the impact of the bullet?
It felt like being hit with a cue stick.
Damn.
Just somebody poking you. No, I didn't know he fired, really. I didn't hear any explosion. All I saw was an orange and blue flame.
And what was the next thing that happened?
We went backwards, him on top of me.
Did he fire the gun again?
Yes.
Damn.
This time it was, the first round went to my right breast. The second one went to my left breast.
Did you feel the impact of the second round?
No.
Did you hear it?
That one I heard. Now that one I figured was about.
Probably didn't feel it from all the fucking adrenaline.
Yeah.
I heard that one.
Did you continue to struggle with him?
Yes.
And what happened after he fired the second round?
Well, he fired another round. That one, the position I was in, that one went down through my arm.
Did you feel that?
Yes.
And were you able to continue to struggle with him?
What the hell?
Yes. In fact, he fired another round.
And did it hit you?
Glazed off my hip.
What did you feel
Whoa!
with
I burned.
that? He had fired at this point 4 rounds, all 4 of them striking you?
Yes.
What did he do next?
He thought I was dead. He walked away from me. He walked back towards the sidewalk. And at that time, I was up on my knees and saying, "Eddie, throw the gun down." With that, his eyes got large. He couldn't believe what he just saw. He looked towards the courthouse and put the gun to his chest and fired.
Damn!
As a result of that.
He flopped over backwards. The weapon went in the snow, probably a foot or so behind his head, and I ran, grabbed the gun.
Yeah.
And what was his condition?
EMTs, everybody got there. I really don't know how, what the length of time was, but apparently he killed himself.
Steve, you have a chance to talk to police officers. What do you tell them about your shooting and the fact that you wore a vest on that day?
Well, I guess for a fact I'm still here talking. They're a damn fool if they don't use them.
God damn, dude. So he took 4 rounds, 2 to the chest, 1 to his hip. I didn't catch where that other one went.
In
And
his
then
arm, and then 1 to his hip.
1 to his arm. Okay. And then he gets up and he's like, "Hey, dude, put the gun down." And instead of being arrested, he just
It was attempted murder on a cop, or his fucking life's basically over.
Well, yeah, he was gonna get fucking done up anyway. He was being
Depending
brought
on
in.
Yeah,
Huh?
depending on what state that's in, that could be the death penalty too. So
In the 80s, it would have been the needle. Yeah, for sure.
Mm.
In the 80s, like 90% of there was only like 2 states, I think, in the 80s that, especially in the late 80s, that were still doing the death penalty. By and large, most of them stopped doing it by the mid 90s. There's still a couple of states that do the death penalty. I think Wisconsin, the state I live in, does it still, but I'm not entirely sure. And
there's one state that I know that if you escape from jail, or you kill a cop or attempted murder on a cop, especially if you've escaped from jail, that's death penalty, and there's no fucking coming back from it.
Yeah.
Yes, soft body armor lasts longer than ceramic plates. Yeah, because
because it's more flexible.
Well, the ceramic plate shatters. That's a part of its protective thing, and once it shatters, its protective abilities is basically lost. That's why a lot of trauma plates and stuff now AR 500 steel with a rubber spall liner on it.
Yeah.
So it catches all.
Texas doesn't do the chair anymore. Everybody moved over to lethal injection.
Yeah, that's all, of course, unless the fucking the company that makes the phenol barbital fucking will allow them to fucking purchase it. Which is something that happened recently. Is like, oh no, we don't want to sell you the drugs because we know you're going to kill people with them. So you're the cunt we're killing. You killed a bunch of people already. So
Yeah.
And it's probably the same fucking companies too that fucking just released the fucking Wu flu vaccine that killed a fucking bunch of people anyway. So a bunch of hypocrites.
Yeah. And these same companies fucking these same companies go to Congress and go, we can't be held accountable for the drugs we make. I mean, that'd be like holding someone accountable for hitting them with their car. We just put it out there. They didn't have to take it. Oh, in the 80s? Yeah, in the early 80s, yeah. Texas, I think it switched over to lethal injection by like 82 or 83.
Didn't Texas have like three different versions? You could still get fucking a firing squad back in the 80s as well.
You could, yeah, you could opt to be executed by firing squad up until I think it was 85 or 86.
Yeah, and then then there was the old misnomer that there was one blank in the rifle, and they never fucking in one of the rifles, and they never tell you which one had the blank. So you could use the old if you had any second thoughts later on, it's like, well, maybe I had the blank. So yeah, no. If you've ever followed the difference between a live and a blank round, you know the difference.
It was it's like how they do the death penalty in Japan. I don't remember how long ago Japan retired the death penalty. But in Japan, there would be a room that 4 officers would walk into, and each of them would pull a lever, and the person getting the death penalty would be hung. And so these 4 officers would pull the lever at the same exact time. No one was allowed to deviate at all, a little bit.
And it was
And
on a circuit. One of them was alive. One of them was
right,
live, and the other 3 weren't.
right,
Something like that.
and then the guy would, and then the the convict would drop, and then not a single officer knew who really pulled the thing. It was designed to alleviate hanging, yes. It was designed to alleviate the mental stress of taking someone's life.
But they also did it on a randomized circuit too. So each time you did it, it was a different handle that actually
It was timed and it was
worked it.
randomized.
Yeah.
Um,
So if you did find out which handle did it the last time, it'll be the different one the next time.
Right.
Just with the Wu flu vaccines, they've also just figured out too that it does 2 things to inhibit the cancer inhibitors in your body, which is now causing what's called turbo cancers. This is in answer to Desta's comment there.
we can't, no, we can't say that on YouTube, Farty. No, do it.
But
Don't.
like they're just finding this out now. So it's not just the heart troubles; it's also oncologists are coming out sort of going, "Fuck, this is a bad thing," and they now know what the mechanism is for it too, because it's basically removing any form of cancer fighting abilities that your body naturally has.
With that, I want to join everybody. I want to invite everybody to join us on Friday night for our exclusive Rumble stream.
We should get Dr. John Campbell on.
What's that?
We should get Dr. John Campbell on for for an episode.
That would be fun, but I don't think it'll happen.
Yeah.
But yeah, we're gonna head out. I'm gonna go fucking pass out. My meds are actually hitting a little early tonight. And we'll see you guys Friday night around this time. Saturday for you, Farty. Friday night for me.
Yep.
So around this time, and we'll see you guys then. And thanks for hanging out with us. Until then, bye. Oh, wait, I fucked up.